Okay, Crooked, I appreciate you taking out the time to join us today. I know we had you back when we were just audio based, but I appreciate you taking out the time to come on now that we're going video.
Yeah, man, Reggie hit me up. You know what I'm saying? One thing about Reggie, man, when I was on death row, he always made sure I got my checks on time. You feel me? I'll never forget that. You feel me? So if he need me to come down and do a podcast, I'm here. You know?
Yeah. Okay. Before we get into questions, real quick for the viewers, Discovery Channel is going to put out a Who Killed Biggie and Tupac docu-series. It's going to have Reggie and Keefe D and Greg Caden's people on, so make sure to tune into that. But as far as the first question, Crooked, how did you originally hook up with Big C Style and do the Virgin Records thing?
Man, how did I hook up with Big Style? Well, you know what? I was doing I was doing my independent thing in Long Beach, and shout out to my homie Chucky Miller. Chucky Miller and Leonard Russell. They two football players from Long Beach. They graduated from Poly High and they went into the league. And they came back, and they wanted to do something in the community. So they built a studio on the east side, and they were trying to put talent out. They had something called Muscle Records. And everybody used to come through there because Chucky Miller, he throws parties in Long Beach. And he threw some historical parties that Snoop Dogg first time getting on the microphone in front of people at a club, them type of parties, he did that. And so he had a good reputation in the city, man, and people would come through the studio all the time. I was a teenager, and Big Style, he pulled up to the lab one time with Snoop and Daz and Kurupt, and it was around the time when Snoop had just got that Suburban. He was I think he had did something with St. Ives and got a Suburban or something like that. Um, but they pulled up and we had a cipher. You know what I mean? And once they said let's cipher, see they was on. I was just used to seeing Snoop pass through in the Cherokee, throw the chunk the deuces out the window, while me and my homies was sitting on the corner dreaming about getting to this rap shit. You know what I mean? And we was starving, we was hungry. And when they said that they was gonna do a cipher, I was like, I'm about to unload a full clip right now, because I was just that hungry. And by the time it came to me, I probably spit 100 bars nonstop. You know what I'm saying? And when they was walking down the stairs after leaving the studio, Snoop told, this is what Style told me. Snoop told Style, you want to be a top notch manager in this game, you need to manage that boy Crooked. You know what I'm saying? And that's when me and CStyle's business relationship started. You know what I mean? And I happened to be walking down the block with my brother Dice on my way to to do some music with some of the producers who was in Warren G's camp. And I ain't had no car. Like I said, we was hungry. We was hustling on the street, petty hustlers. You feel me? Just trying to get by. And I was on my way to King Avenue, and C Style pulled up. He had a dude in the car that had a box of Church's chicken in his lap, and he had an S curl on top of his fade, and his name was LT Hutton. You know what I'm saying? And he was fresh out. Chicago, just out here trying to get into the music industry. So they both pulled up and they like, Crook, we've been looking for you. I'm like, what's cracking? It was like, yo, we got a compilation that we working on. It's called 19th Street Compilation. I was like, yo, all right. And he was like, I said, I'm on my way to go fuck with the homies Fudge Loke and you know what I mean, Keith Clark. And they was like, all right, well shit. If you hop in right now, you can get on this compilation. And I was like, all right. So I jumped in the car. We went to Soundcastle Studios, and I was like, yo, how many songs can I get on? Because it was almost done. He was like, as many as you want. I got on 10 songs that day because I told you I was real hungry. You know what I mean? So, you know, knocked the 10 joints down. And after that, my guy, Malik Levy, you know what I'm saying? He was doing Capital Punishment Records over at Capitol Records, and he was in the sessions like, yo, this shit is hard. So we had everybody from Long Beach on them compilations. Trady, You know, R.I.P. Badass, the Low Life Gangsters. You know what I'm saying? You know, everybody, Technique, the LBC crew, Bo Rock, everybody was on that compilation. And Snoop was the hottest thing in the industry, so people was really looking at Long Beach. And a couple of execs came in from Virgin Records. And it was really trippy, man, because I always been a syllable rhyme floor. You know what I mean? Like, all of my homies, they was really straight to the point and blunt with their raps. But I was a little bit more imaginative, you know what I'm saying? I would say, like, I was into the art of wordplay. I was into the art of rhyming words, you know, and people like Coogee Rap and Rakim and the DOC and people like that inspired me, you know what I mean? So I was in there kind of out of, like a fish out of water, because everybody else was saying, yo, I jump out my 6'4" and shoot you in your head. You know what I'm saying? And that was just the rap, you feel me? But I was saying the same things they were saying, but I was saying it in a way to where it looked like I had a little bit of the dictionary in my vocabulary, you feel me? So sometimes they be like, I don't know what you saying, cuz, but that shit hard, you know what I'm saying? And that right there kind of made me feel like an underdog in a situation. But when the Zek came in from Virgin, he was like, yo, this shit is dope. But who the fuck is that Crooked kid? You know what I mean? And that's how me and Style moved over to Virgin, did our first deal on Virgin Records through New Tribe, you know, and Eric and them over there. They had already had the Loonies burning up everything with I Got Five on it. And, you know, that was my very first major deal. I went back and told the homies who signed me to the indie deal, look, I got this opportunity. They was like, we don't want to stop you. We want to see you grow. Go ahead. You know what I mean? And we just did it like that.
Okay. And then when you did the Virgin deal, you put out the single "Uh-Oh," right? Because I remember I think I had that vinyl at the time.
Oh,
But
shit.
yeah, way back. But you recorded an album, but it never came out on Virgin, right? Or did you not record an album?
Yeah, I recorded an album. Um, did the Uh-Oh joint. It was crazy too, man, because a lot of people think that's one of my best joints. And what happened was the engineer at Soundcastle, he was like, everybody left. I always stayed in the studio longer than everybody else. You know what I'm saying? And he left, everybody left, and it was just me and him in the studio real late at night. And he was like, hey man, I make beats. And I was like, for real? Because he just didn't look like the type of guy that made beats. And I was like, oh shit, okay, cool. He was like, yeah, man, I'll pay you if you jump on one of my beats. I was like, all right, shit, where's that? He pulled it up, and it was that classical uh-oh track, you know what I'm saying? And I jumped on that motherfucker. And it's the C, R to the uh-oh, K-E-D, you know what I'm saying? And it just was going off. And everybody was liking that shit. And next thing you know, they wanted to press the vinyl. But yeah, man, those times at Soundcastle, I can't, man, that shit crazy. What was your original question? You just took me all the way back, bro. I ain't thought about that shit in years.
No, just if you recorded it, or if you were planning on doing an album for them, and if you actually completed it, and they just never dropped it.
Yeah, we did an album, you know what I'm saying? And I had Daz and Kurupt on the first single, you know what I mean? And I had another joint called The Crook in Me with Nate Dogg, rest in peace, on there. You know what I'm saying? And we had a dope album. But what happened was something went on up top. So when I say that, they accused um, something happened with New Tribe, the production company that was the middleman, to where they wanted New Tribe off the entire label. You know what I'm saying? They just walked in the room and said, everybody on New Tribe, you're gone. You know what I'm saying? Like, I heard it was some embezzlement shit. I don't know what the fuck was going on. You know what I mean? All I knew was I had an album coming out. I was happy as a motherfucker. And then the next day I didn't have an album coming out. You know what I'm saying? So one good thing I can say though is that they let me leave with my music. You know what I mean? They didn't say I was in debt to them in any kind of way with the money that they spent. And you know, that was cool. But I learned then right there that getting a record deal is not a home run. You know what I mean? A lot of young kids think when they get a deal, they hit a home run. I learned you really just on first base. You know what I mean? And it takes a lot of other things to make sure that you can score. You feel me? So, yeah, it didn't never come out. But the shit was hard, man. The shit was hard.